Welcome back to Star Wars Escape Pod and our 13th episode of Lightspeed. Bringing you Star Wars news and headlines in under 15 minutes. We're going to dive right into the Star Wars Visions trailer. Let's do it.
Long ago, a great warrior came to this village and entrusted our ancestors with this. Its power and responsibility now lie with you. You've been guided by the Force since you were born.
At last, the moment arrives.
It's the first time I've confronted such darkness. Something ancient and sinister.
We're going to be a proper family.
Let's make this our best show ever!
フォースと共にあらんこと。
I accept this responsibility.
Star Wars Visions comes out on Disney Plus September 22nd, 2021, and a novel called Ronin will tie into one of the shorts as well. There's been a variety of anime studios that have worked on the 9 episodes that are going to be releasing, and I believe they're all dropping on the same day, which is pretty crazy. I have no idea how long these things are, but it's going to be interesting. It's the first anime Star Wars crossover ever, with Star Wars having so many visual ties to Japanese cinema, and of course George being a very big fan of some Japanese movies by Kurosawa. It's going to be interesting to see what these Japanese artists can do with the Star Wars franchise, and they're going into it with an open mind. So widely considered not to be canon stories, and probably the first piece of non-canon stories that Disney's actually produced ever since 2015, I think now it is. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of that going on, and I think we're all very much excited to see what an anime take on Star Wars is going to look like. There's going to be 2 different versions, of course. There's going to be the Japanese original recorded audio, and then there's going to be an English dubbed version. And I believe that you'd be able to choose which version you'd like to play on Disney Plus. I would imagine that the original Japanese version will be there and available to us if in North America. That is, if they give us the option. I don't know how it's going to work, but I guess we'll find out on September 22nd. Speaking of Disney Plus, on the 25th this month, we're getting an additional episode provided to the Mandalorian Gallery series. So if you did watch the Star Wars Mandalorian Gallery series, this extra episode will be getting into the finale of season 2, specifically the return of Luke Skywalker. It'll feature Mark Hamill and Dave Filoni and various others talking about that scene and the very surprise cameo appearance that character made, and it's going to be very, very interesting. So stay tuned for that episode dropping on Wednesday, which is this week on the 25th. Check your Disney Plus, and there'll be a new Mandalorian Gallery episode. I imagine it's going to be probably close to maybe 20-something to 40-something minutes long. Who knows? But those gallery episodes are always very, very cool, and I can't wait to see that as well. A lot of Star Wars drama news recently as well, with the recent name change of Slave One into Fire Spray, which is, it seems to me as if Disney is trying to avoid using the original name given to Boba Fett's ship. The recent Lego ship also dropped with the name subtitled as Boba Fett's starship, and it caused a bit of a stir. And more recently, Disney has also produced one of the latest comic books with the War of the Bounty Hunters crossover event. Boba Fett's Slave One ship has been dubbed as the Fire Spray, which is not to be italicized or anything. It's just called, it was listed as Boba Fett, and then under ship, it was just Fire Spray. That was it. And whereas all the other bounty hunters have the original names for all their ships, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do, because, of course, I'm not a big fan of this name change. I don't think anyone is. It's always been Slave One ever since Empire Strikes Back. Slave One has just been known as Slave One. That's the name of the ship. So why go changing it now? I mean, it's like, it's, you know, why broke what ain't, why fix what ain't broke, right? So you know, there's a lot of questions I have for whoever made this decision, and it's a stupid one at that. And you know, I'm not gonna hide my opinions about that. I think it's a ridiculous way to go about whatever they're trying to do. And I mean, if any of you guys, if this angers you as well, I mean, you know, send in a tweet. I mean, tag Disney on it and just express your opinion about this, because I mean, I think changing what George Lucas has done in those 6 movies is just it's horrendous. I mean, like why, right? I mean, Empire Strikes Back is one of fans' favorite movies of all time, and to go about changing one of the coolest bounty hunters ever's ship and the name of that ship, which has been incredibly iconic for years. I mean, people are walking around with T-shirts with Slave One written on it. I mean, it's unbelievable how iconic this name is, and now they're changing it. It's like, dude, like what the heck? So, anyways. Let me know what your thoughts are. You know, send an email, tweet. You can follow us on Twitter at SW Escape Podcast. Every way to get in touch with us, of course, is in the description of this episode. We got so much news talking about today. I mean, the delayed Lego Star Wars game, the Skywalker Saga, will show up in Gamescom this week, and it's going to be absolutely insane to see the updates made on that game. So don't miss this Wednesday, the world premiere new look at Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, opening night, live stream at 11 a.m. Pacific time. That's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. BST, 8 p.m. CEST. So tune in at, I'll provide the link below in the description. You can tune in there, and that'll be August 25th that'll be happening. So stay tuned to that. Gamescom this week. Don't miss it. Of course, there's many cool articles dropping on StarWars.com. You can follow all the latest there. One of the more recent ones was all about the inside intel, Palpatine's contingency plan. We're going to do a podcast episode on this one because, of course, the story of Palpatine is a big one to talk about, but the contingency plan that he has in general is a big topic because it's a story plot that's been building ever since Disney took over the company, and in various forms of canon media they've been trying to tell this story. And so, you know, Operation Cinder, the contingency plan, it's been referenced in The Mandalorian, and of course hinted at in the sequel trilogy with the Battle of Jakku and all that stuff, and the Aftermath books. We're going to be diving into all this stuff in a exclusive episode dropping in the near future. The Star Wars comics have been doing very successful lately with the War of the Bounty Hunters crossover event, which is currently on issue number 3. But if you want a quick update as to where these series are, Star Wars, the latest issue is number 16. We have War of the Bounty Hunters spin-off comics for the characters of Forlum and Zuckuss, as well as Jabba the Hutt. And the High Republic Adventures is currently on issue number 7, with the High Republic coming in at issue number 8. Dr. Aphra on number 12, the Darth Vader series number 14, and the Bounty Hunter series at number 15. So if you're trying to follow all the Marvel comic series, there you go. That's all the latest. On the 31st, we are going to have a High Republic audio drama drop on Audible called Tempest Runner. This will be the 3rd Audible drama that they've done from Star Wars. Audio dramas are basically exclusive books or stories that have been done and written for narrative audio, which means that it's not based on a novel, and it has been written and performed exclusively for your ears, and then later gets transformed and published in a script form in a book. So you will eventually be able to buy this in a book form, like Dooku Jedi Lost or the Dr. Aphra comic book adaptation in audio, but it's going to be an all original story about one of the Tempest runners in the days of the High Republic. So that launches on the 31st. If you're a big fan of the High Republic or audio Star Wars dramas, make sure you pick it up. We're going to be doing an episode regarding all the Force powers as well as the different sides of the Force. I know we've been absolutely slammed with Bad Batch reviews lately and just personal lives. We've all been very busy, but we will have time to get around to that stuff in the near future. Like what we were saying with the contingency plan episode as well, we've got so many things in store for the podcast, as well as more What Happened episodes. And if you guys have any requests for different types of characters, feel free to send them in. We've got a list going, but if you have, if we get enough votes for certain names, we might prioritize them over others. We've done a few of them already, and if you haven't heard those, they're really great to listen to, especially if you need to catch up on these characters going into the live action shows. There's a lot of relevance for their appearances in comic books and animated shows, and for those of you who don't indulge or don't have the time to go through all that stuff, you know, it's a good way to catch up on what you missed, so, or give you a refresher, I guess, to say the least. So yeah, those are there for you, and we have lots more in the near future that we're going to be putting out. The Bad Batch Season 1 came to a close on August 13th, and we can't wait to see the second season. It left us hanging with a few questions, more than we expected, I think, but they also teased us with what's going to come down the road. And this new Stormtroopers design and everything. I mean, there's so many cool things that they're introducing to this new era, or I guess the new section of this era that has long been talked about by Ben Kenobi as the Dark Times. We're going to be seeing a lot more of what that's about, and perhaps maybe some cool cameos from maybe characters that we know from Rebels, or even some of the comic books from the Darth Vader series. I mean, the beginning of the Inquisitorius, that would be really cool to see. This show takes place only 4-ish to 5 years before the events of Solo and Jedi Fallen Order, which both take place in the same year, if you didn't know, which is 5 years after Revenge of the Sith. So as we kind of creep closer to that timeline, it makes me wonder if we're going to see any of those characters pop up, or perhaps any similar related events shown in the Bad Batch show. It's going to be very, very interesting. And I also wonder how many seasons this show is going to last, because that'll also probably affect what they do, and, you know, with the time that we're given with the next seasons. So, I mean, I would even prefer longer episodes and shorter episode seasons, given what we saw with the first season. 16 episodes. It was great, and I like that length. However, I would be happy with even 12 and having each episode be a solid 30 minutes or even more, as opposed to the 16 episode mark. It's a rewatchability thing for me, for a lot of people as well. I mean, Clone Wars is a 7-season show, could have been 8 if Disney didn't cancel it, and even longer per season. And a lot of people don't even want to go through 7 seasons, which are not even full-length seasons half the time. So it's a tough one when you're trying to get people on board to watch a show. And you know, I think the rewatchability of shorter shows is a lot better. But I don't know. Let me know what you think, and of course, let us know what your thoughts are on season 2 of The Bad Batch. We'd love to know what your speculations are. The last thing on our list is Marvel's one-shot Star Wars Life Day celebrates with 4 festive tales this November. You don't have to travel to Kashyyyk to celebrate the lessons of Life Day, because a one-shot from Marvel, Star Wars Life Day #1, will feature 4 unique stories by Cavan Scott, Justina Ireland, Jodie Hauser, and Steve Orlando. So that'll be really interesting. Thanks again, guys, for tuning into the show. Check out Star Wars Escape Pod for more great episodes, and we'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you.